What is going on, YouTube? Pass the prop back here again. MLB show today. We have every team in action coming on to you on a Friday. Joined as always by my guy Stu. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Having a very nice week so far. Got a good mix of obviously MLB action, and we finally had some NBA finals for us NBA fans out there that had to wait, pretty much over a week, obviously, for that matchup. Maybe it wasn't the best game in the world. I don't know if you tuned in or not. It was not a competitive game, but I did cash a lot of tickets, which made it a great game one for me. So very happy with that. Obviously got a little good momentum going on the Twitter streets. Hoping to bring that in over here. I think we got some really good plays today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We always like these slates where, every team's in action. You don't have to worry about, 5-6 games. We can pick and choose what we like. And yeah, obviously coming off a pretty decent show again, feeling pretty good where we're at.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's that time of year, baby. It's that time of year, I'm really excited. We got good games, good pitchers on the mound. And, yeah, like you said, an absolutely loaded slate of action today.
All right, let's get our recap in here. I believe we both hit, or did the Mets not score till the 6th?
Yeah, it was a 6th-inning explosion, unfortunately for me. And then, I don't know, the long shot with Adley as well hits 2 bombs the next day. It was the worst-case scenario for both of these picks. Absolutely went off in the 6th inning in that one.
Yeah, my guy Michael has tried to make me sweat a little bit, but even in his best start, I think his best start of the year, still ended up cashing for me. Both these guys, absolute wagons for your boy here, and they continue to cash. Like I said, that was literally his best start. I don't think I've seen him throw better than that, and still gave it up against the Astros there, who just absolutely sucked in that game, man. Like, obviously, I understand they scratched Bregman late. Tucker still wasn't playing. That lineup was dog shit. So, wish I would have known that Bregman had the opportunity to get scratched. That's not great, but it is what it is, and we'll take the cash any way we can get it.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I absolutely love this play. I tailed it, obviously, like I said on the show. But it's funny. What we said of, like, you want something that cashes when these guys are both on. And they both had way better starts than normal. Obviously, Corbin got blown up in the 6th. And like you said, Michaelis, one of the better outings, still cashed the ticket. So that's exactly what we're looking for here.
Yeah, so it brings us down a little bit. Obviously, our long shots did not cash there. I had Braxton Garrett, who, like I said, I told you, options are he's going to do extremely well or he's going to get blown up, and he got blown up. And that's what you're looking for with a guy with that type of variance that can get you those high upside K numbers. So obviously not the best there. I don't even remember who hit that day. It was frick. Damn. It'll come to me in a sec. I just had to look back, but I had no exposure to the person who won on that day, which kind of.
Yeah, was it like Cease? He was obviously the favorite on this.
No, it wasn't Skeens either. He had 8. There was somebody who double digits on that day. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna look while we're doing our breakdown here of the show. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, I see we have a question already in the chat, which we like to see. We'll get to a couple of those as we go through. Let's talk about the slate. Obviously, really good slate. We got aces. We have cans. We have everything in between here. Stu, I guess with a full slate like this, if you want, you can give me 2 that you like. But obviously, what's the game that's sticking out to you?
Yeah, like you said, this is like a real, like, all over the place slate. You know what I mean? It's one of those that, like, I feel like anything could happen. One that weirdly stuck out to me, I'll start Mariners Royals, honestly. I mean, Lynch is someone I'm kind of curious because I bet against him a decent amount last time, but he always did have like that big curveball. Like, you kind of saw the vision, you could see the development. And on the other side, Miller, someone I'm super high on, obviously someone I have a lot of in my best ball drafts along with Wu. I love that Mariners young pitching staff. Plus, I did get to see the viral video of my guy Victor Robles dropping the easy.
Did you see my tweet? Is that why? Did you see my tweet?
What was it? No, I didn't see it.
No, I literally just said, "Wow, dude, this guy is he's such a dog shit prospect." I'm like, "How is this guy a top end prospect?" I was watching the game. And I'm like, "What are we doing, dude? Like, you literally jumped for the ball. Like,
Yep.
You stay on your fucking catch the damn ball, dude. Like I had Woo yesterday, so I was kind of getting a little sweaty there because I had a strikeout prop. Ended up cashing anyway, under earned runs, and all that stuff. But damn, dude, that was rough.
Yeah, and Severin, like he's made that same play twice this year on the Nationals, like routine pop fly, unnecessary like jump or whatever. It was just insane. So I'm glad the whole world got to see some of the pain we've been dealing with these last couple of years. Because like you said, he was one of the top prospects in baseball, and I mean when he came up his rookie season, he was really good. It's just been downhill since then. So I'm very curious. That one's kind of like a low key game that stood out to me, but honestly, I mean, I think Dodgers-Yankees is kind of the talk of the town, right? I mean, I'm very interested in that game, especially with the Dodgers offense not being where people expected it. Now, Soto injury stuff on the other side takes away a little of the star power from it, but I think that still should be a great game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did look it up. It was Nick Pivetta on Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
With a 19 or 9K game. In a game with an 11 total. I benched Brian Wu in fantasy this week, and I benched Nick Pivetta in fantasy this week. Obviously, when you see Nick Pivetta going against the Braves, don't expect a 9K outing. Obviously, he was not a low on the – I think he was like 20-something to 1. He was in that range. But, yeah, Fried was the next day. Fried was a different day on there, but he had a 13 strikeout outing against that Red Sox team. So, obviously, loaded there. What I'm looking at obviously, you talked about the big one being the Yankees ones there, but I want to see this Cubs team on the road in Cincinnati, obviously an NL Central spot. I want to see that. And I also want to see the Sox matchup, right? We got the Red Sox, White Sox. Absolute dismantling last night, like 12-0, 12-1, whatever it was, 14-1. So that was awful. The White Sox are as bad as advertised. Had outs props, had strikeout props, had every type of bet on Tanner Houck. I was worried he's going to get pulled. They were up, 12 runs, and he had only 70 pitches. I'm like, I need 18.5, and luckily they brought him back out there, and he did his job there. What an outing. Almost a no-no. You went 5 no-hit innings and looked fantastic. Today I think it's going to be a little different. I'm going to talk about it here in a little bit, but seeing some questions in the chat. I will kick it here. Our guy, Saj here. How we like it, Twins money line. I know you're going to talk about the Twins here in a little bit. Do you like them as a play here in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. I think I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to bet the Twins. I like Ryan a lot. I'm very high on him in general, and I normally avoid the Pirates with the young guys on the mound. Keller, obviously not someone to sleep on, but I think it's a solid matchup. I would lean the Twins, but I don't know if I'm going out of my way to bet them today. That offense, man, it's so inconsistent. It's really not a team that I bet on very often in general, outside of like specific props.
Yeah, I don't bet Twins ever. I hate the Twins. I know it's a strong word, but I don't think that it's anywhere off of what I feel because I absolutely despise this team. They are probably the most inconsistent team in the MLB. Now you get to head to Pittsburgh, bigger ballpark. The Twins, I'm gonna have to look at some point what the percentage of their runs scored are by home runs because it's got to be one of the top 5 teams. These dudes just swing for the fence, and a lot of the time swing and miss. That's why they're top in the league or one of the top 3 teams in strikeout rates to right-handed pitching. I think Mitch Keller is going to be very good today. It's just, do you think Joe Ryan's going to be better? I do not want to play this Minnesota offense in any way, shape, or form. I do not trust them one bit.
Yep, I'm with you. You said a much more harsh version of what I said, but if you guys are in the chat, you're like, what are these guys talking about? Just bet on the Twins a couple times and watch the games. Like, don't box score. Like, watch the games, and then you'll know how we feel after a little bit.
You'll see them get a leadoff double, and then get them over, right? They'll do a job, get them over, and then strike out twice. And we're out of the inning, so it doesn't matter. So I am very good with fading these guys. Since Ryan Jeffers has started sucking over this last month, this offense just went down the shit. And also, you're lucky when they're facing a righty because they actually get their lefties in the lineup, but all of their best hitters will get pinch hit for immediately once they bring in a lefty. And that's what's annoying about this team. You can't bet on their props. Like Kepler will not play versus a lefty, right? And he comes out in the middle of the game as the 4 hitter, right? And that you just don't see that on a lot of teams, and it's really, really tough to want to bet hitting props on these guys here as well because of that. So I don't mind the Twins with Joe Ryan on the bump here, but I am not going to bet them, especially at juice minus 130. I'm good. Miller has struggled on the road this season. I don't know if you're talking about Bryce Miller. I will not fade Bryce Miller. I actually really like Bryce Miller as a pitcher, and I guess on a 15-game slate, we don't have to bet every game. There's a lot of good spots, and there's a lot of spots you probably don't want to touch. So I'm good with not even looking at that game because I know Kansas City's fantastic at home. Bryce Miller is a little worse on the road, but he also is very, very good, and he's an elite pitcher. And did see the forecast might be a little bit more towards rain there as well. So just make sure you're on the lookout for those as well. So let's get to some picks. We got 20 of you guys in here live with us. I do see there's a couple other questions. We will get to those. Don't worry. If you have them, we'll get to them. And we'll kick it over to you, Stu, to start us off. In that game we already talked about here, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I'm going Joe Ryan under 1.5 walks, minus 130 on MGM right now, minus 150 over on DraftKings. So 20 points better, obviously. I don't mind the minus 150 as well because I honestly think this is a pretty mispriced line. I mean, I would almost expect this if we were going against like an elite walk team with multiple guys that I'm very scared of. But that's not the case right here. And when you look at the hit rates, I mean, under in 10 of 12 so far this year, under in 30 of 41 dating back to last season, 94th percentile in walk rate this year, 92nd percentile. Like, this isn't anything new. He's had elite command this whole time, right? And obviously, like I said, the hit rate is pretty insane, honestly, for this number. And when you look at the Pirates side, I mean, 8th lowest walk rate against obviously right-handed pitching over the last month. I mean, that's not even top half of the league. Like, I don't understand what we're doing to deserve this. I know Sawinski's back up in the majors. He either homers or walks, so that does add a little bit something. But I mean, I think to the point, if we're picking and compiling through these minor league hitters that these guys are going through, then I think we're overreacting a little bit. And once again, like, this is what he does. He attacks the strike zone. He's super consistent. He doesn't walk people. My only real worry is, I guess, if you have like a super long leash, you're getting deep into these games. I don't love going out for the 7th inning, you walk the leadoff guy, you get pulled. That's when things get a little bit dicey. That's probably my one worry for guys betting these under walk props is just the long leash. But like I said, the hit rate for me was just way too good to pass up. If it's an elite matchup on the other side, that's one thing. But this is a Pirates lineup that, sure, they walk at an above average rate, but not over the last month or so. It's been below league average. Their swing percentage is below league. They're coming out aggressive. They're not walking that much. It's not really a matchup I'm super scared of. And it's a pitcher that I absolutely love backing. So I think this probably closes. It's already minus 150 DraftKings. I think it probably closed like minus 180 or so. So I definitely try to get on it as soon as possible because I think this is a line clearly moving in one direction. And yeah, obviously, if you need a juice reducer or something like that, we'll talk about some stuff later in the show as well. But love this play at minus 130 over on BetMGM.
Awesome. Yep, I agree. Only reason I don't like taking these walk props is for what you said, especially with these high-end dudes. They will give them the benefit of the doubt heading out for the 7th inning, and I absolutely despise it. Has had that happen to me with Logan Webb a few times, where he just kind of runs out of gas, right? I mean, it's bound to happen when you're, throwing your 110th pitch, right? And for me, I always get worried with Joe Ryan if he gets the high strike call because the dude pitches up in the zone better than probably any pitcher in the MLB. So if you don't that's why I only look at like ump calls on very few guys, but it would be this dude. It would be this spot for that because he will pitch like up, like belt and up. Not many pitchers like to use that anymore as starters. A lot of guys down in the zone, good sweeper and all that. But if he doesn't get that high strike call, I'm a little scared on this spot just because we do kind of have that spot where you're like, oh, why is this number there? Blah, blah, blah. But man, dude, he's so good at pitching that fastball up in the zone. And I don't know if I see the Pirates chasing that much because I don't think they're going to hit it. Like I don't think they're going to hit that ball up there well. So there's something in my head right now that kind of comes to me when I watch Joe Ryan pitch. he does a great job of working up in the zone. It just kind of depends. Will you get that strike call? So a lot of stuff that depends on the umpire with him in a lot of the games that I've watched for him. So that's also just because I am an absolute just fucking nerd on this shit, and I watch a lot of baseball, and I love pitching. So it's like when I see it, it's like you got to almost just like look at those umps in some of these spots, no?
Yeah, 100%. That's something we're even seeing more too. I see it on Twitter every once in a while now. People really kind of deep diving these umpire stats. So maybe something I got to get a little bit more active in. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't look at a ton. It's just kind of some of those, some. Like now that you don't have what's his face Angel in there anymore, it kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit too. So you started out with a pitcher prop. Let me start out with a pitcher prop. I'm going to go with Garrett Crochet, 8 strikeouts today, minus 120. I really like Crochet today. I think he's in a fantastic spot. Looked great against my Brew Crew in his last outing, and he got better as the game goes on, and that's something that you don't see that much from a lot of these guys anymore. You see guys that go full bore from the get-go, and you don't see them, like really be able to get that velo continually moving up throughout an outing. Garrett Cole comes to mind when we think about this. Glass now obviously does as well. But when I look at this spot, Crochet gets the Red Sox. The Red Sox coming off a huge game yesterday. I think this is a huge letdown spot for him, honestly. Garrett Crochet is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable so far this year. He's at a 34% K rate, whiff rate, top 15 percentile in the MLB. His walk rate's down this year to 5%. Expected batting average is sub 200. Expected ERA is a full run and a half lower than his actual, which he's already been damn good, man. He's already been, the number one guy on this team. He's 5-5 on the worst team in the MLB. He's got a .93 whip. His strikeout rate, like I said, was 34%. And it gets nuts. But you also got to remember he's playing with the worst offense in the MLB. So you got to do some big boy work to even get a chance there. Heading into this one, Boston. Dude, there's some fun stuff you can find on all these like analytical websites. It sounds degen as shit, but against left-handed pitching at home this year, right? You got to dig. They are by far the highest K rate. 5% between them in second place.
Wow.
30.3% K rate. A 79 WRC plus. That's fucking bad. That's 21% than an average player, lower than an average player. To put in perspective here, the number between them and number 2 is the difference between number 2 and number 20. That's how close. It's not even close. You look at the best players on this team, right? Devers going to have a hard time lefty on lefty with this dude. Duran, awful against lefties in terms of strikeout rate. And then you look at Garrett Crochet, who's generating swing and miss of 26% or higher on every pitch. Four-seamer 26, 35 on the cutter, 36 on the slider. And the dude is just you're out. You're a lefty, man. You're pretty much guessing and hoping you're in the right spot, which is tough to do when you have a guy with a top 5% extension. You can't even see the ball. So I love Crochet. I took him in this last start against my Brewers, who is significantly better, in my opinion, against lefties than these guys too. So it's tough to see how bad this Red Sox team is against left-handed pitching. And you know how bad my crew is against lefties, right? They're not good. They have a 23% K rate against lefties. These guys are 30. That's crazy. Yeah. And now you're going up against a guy who is going out there trying to strike out every single one of you at every time. And I think this is an absolute smash spot for me. I'm going to be playing this one pretty heavily today.
Yeah, I love this play. I was looking at, I like the Ks, I like the outs, but obviously for a guy, for me, when I look at the outs prop, I'm like, okay, if you got 16.5, like you said, this is a guy that's going out there to K every single one of these guys. So kind of rather than the outs, for me, I agree. I went to the strikeouts as well. And man, what you said, obviously one of the worst strikeout teams in the league. Then the worst strikeout team in the league against lefties. Love the matchup. It's literally, the best matchup in baseball that you can get, like you said. And this kid is fucking nasty. Like I'm really excited to watch this game. It probably would have made my top pick of the day, but that would be cheating because I'll only be watching him pitching. I have no interest in watching the White Sox bat ever. Like, it'll just remind me that I drafted Andrew Benintendi in best ball, which is something I do not need to be reminded of, considering he's hitting worse than Martin Maldonado right now. What the fuck? How does that even happen? Anyway, this kid's good. Like, he's really good. You obviously mentioned it. You went into detail, but that was my first thought when I looked at the slate. Oh, the worst strikeout team in the league versus one of the best young pitchers out there. And obviously he's auditioning for a trade. He wants to get the fuck out of there just like everyone else. And his name is now being dropped in a decent amount of trade talk. So obviously that adds a little bit of extra motivation as well. So hopefully they can break that losing streak, but win or lose, I think Crochet, balls out today.
Yeah, I don't know. What does just because I hear you call him kid, what like are you younger are you older than this guy or what?
I mean, I'm not older than this guy, but you can this is professional sports,
No, because it's obviously it was a big trade piece in those early on in his career, but yeah, it feels like he is pretty young, but I mean, it's been like I think he's like 25, 26, like he's
24. So he's a little older than me.
Where does it say that? Oh, on there. Okay. But this third season, damn.
Yeah.
He's up there 10, 21, but damn. Well, good for him, man. Hopefully he has a big day for us. So looking forward to Crochet in the Sox matchup against the other Sox there. So let's take a look. A couple questions here. Thoughts on Jays versus the A's? I don't know, man. I really want to see Chris Bassett just get absolutely unloaded on, dude, in this spot. Like, this A's team, if you're not going to strike them out, dude, they're going to nuke you. They are. Like, they're not good, but, man, I don't think Bassett's going to do well tonight as much as everybody else kind of wants to go there,
Yeah, I don't like Harris at all on the other side, though, man. I bet against him so much last year. Like, I mean, that's such an ugly game, but we talk about it all the time. I made the mistake of betting the Bassett Howard on the road once earlier this year, and it did not work out at all. He got blown up. And we've seen these A's team blow guys up. I mean, look at Chris Sale's last start, right? I mean, they can, like you said, if you're not K-ing them, they can come out there and kick your ass. So it's just a no bet for me. The Blue Jays are almost Twins level. I hate that team so much, honestly. Keep them as far as possible away from me.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Harris. That's why I almost think I like the A's. I bet on Harris last outing. It was fucking nasty. Face the Rays.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm not a huge fan of this Jays offense. I don't think they're good. First off. Second, just looking at their hitting, right? I mean, Oakland has a 109 WRC plus against right-handed pitching at home. I mean, their strikeout rate's only 24% versus what they are on the year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a tough spot if you're not on your game, man. And their hard hit rates, like, they are swinging out there to literally just hit nukes. And Bassett is not missing bats this year. Unless you face Seattle, which, I mean, I think either one of us could get strikeouts against Seattle. That is the worst offense. Like, the worst, plan at the plate that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're so dog shit. It is crazy. I watched J.P. Sears throw the same two pitches for 100 pitches. And these boys probably had 20 whiffs. Like,
yeah,
you got to almost throw them out at this point. Like, they're that bad. Like, I take the A's offense over fucking Seattle. Cal Rowley's dog shit this year. Garver's batting 160. Fuck. Julio Rodriguez K'd 3 times yesterday on the same pitch. Like, they're rough, man. You almost got to throw them out. They're that garbage. So, luckily they have, 4 high-end starting pitching, or else this team would probably win 8 games.
Yeah, I just wish like you said, I mean, it's hard for a guy like Rodriguez too. Like, how do you even kind of develop when the whole thing is such a shit show, because obviously you kind of build one of the young stars in the league, but it's just a shit show through in, through out. And like you said, Garver, that was someone I was looking at the under, but now some of these unders on even one hit are getting crazy juice. So it's almost unplayable in those ranges now.
All right, I think I'm done with my rant on that. Sorry, I had to talk about the A's. I like the A's in that game. I would take the run line if they give it to me, for sure. Because as hard as this is to say, if you would have said this last year, you would have looked at me like I'm crazy. But I think the A's bullpen might be better. Toronto's bullpen's dog. That is one of the worst bullpens ever. And if it's a tie game at the end of the game and we go to extras, you tell me Jordan Romano versus Mason Miller? That shit's over, bro. That shit's over. Jordan Romano's dog shit this year. Awful.
Yeah.
And Swanson's hurt. So it's like, or he's figuring out his shit, whatever it is. Like that bullpen's bad. I'm going to look that up after this. But all right, let's go to yours, Stu. We'll get going.
Sounds good. This plus money right here on the other side. We got plus 115. Tatis 1 hit, Atlanta money line over on DraftKings Sportsbook. I'll start out with Tatis. Honestly, really surprised. DraftKings does the 1.5 hits thing or the 0.5, right? And if not, the odds are pretty bad. He was at 0.5 hits for minus 140, which very much caught me off guard, considering we're coming in with a 12-game hit streak in here, 411 over his last 2 weeks, even not having his most amazing season ever at 283 all year long, 307 against right-handed pitching. What I really like to see, though, a couple pop-off games recently, a 4-for-4, a 3-for-5. Last night registered 4 balls batted over 100 miles per hour off the bat. So even though we're not quite translating into homers yet, obviously we're stacking some doubles, he's hitting the crap out of the ball. He's seeing the strike zone very well. And that's what I want. Obviously, like I said, the 12-game hit streak a little bit earlier. You want to capitalize on the momentum right here. And obviously against Fott right here, he's been good. Like, he's been pretty solid this year, but it's not like a matchup that I'm overwhelmingly worried about. What I like the most, especially when Tatis is kind of in his zone, this is a guy that attacks the strike zone. I mean, he keeps his pitches per plate appearance down. He's an aggressive guy, and he's normally pretty successful in that strategy. But that's what I want, like I said, against a guy like Tatis, who's absolutely crushing the ball. And when you look at the splits, he's going to see majority. It looks like it's mostly sweeper, and then we see the sinker and 4-seamer. But sweeper, surprisingly, number 1 pitch against righties. 370 expected batting average against the sweeper from Tatis. It doesn't get much worse against the sinker or 4-seamer. 333, 346. Got a hit when they matched up earlier this year. It's very rare to get that X batting average over 330 against all pitches. And like I said, I love the recent form. 4 balls over 100 miles per hour last night. We're crushing it. I think we get a homer. I think we get an extra base hit, but it hasn't quite been, translating recently. I think the hit is the safest way to play, and I do love Atlanta as well. I was looking at multiple different ways with Sale. Oh my God, when you look at this Washington lineup against lefties, okay, we got CJ and we got Lane up top. Nobody until we get to Nick Senzel, who has a criminally low amount of plate appearances, is even hitting over 200 against left-handed pitching. I mean, I could go one at a time. Winker, Meneses, Ruiz. None of these guys are hitting over 200 against left-handed pitching this year. I mean, it's really bad. I get that they have that reputation, and obviously Lane Thomas up top, CJ Abrams, okay against lefties in a very limited sample size this year, but the recent form, hit a homer last night, has not been fantastic for this lineup. They're really struggling to score. On the other side, I mean, look at these sale prices. On the outs, juiced as hell at 17.5. It's coming off of a bounce back. Obviously had a rough outing last time out, but man, he has been crushing it so far this season, getting to deep into games and keeping the walks down, right? It's very surprising for me to see him so consistently hitting that 7-inning mark. And the walks being so spectacular, considering he's a strikeout artist. And sometimes those kind of guys, the walks can get up there. So it's good to see. I think this is kind of a prime bounce back spot. And man, the Washington offense has just been brutal to watch recently. They can't score runs for any of their guys out there. Irvin's fine on the mound. I think he's one of the guys that's due for the most regression in the Washington rotation, to be completely honest. Just in terms of stuff, like, he's a good pitcher out there, but definitely love this combination right here. And I love the plus money. Like I said, for me, when I want to fade Washington, I think there's a lot of different ways to do it. But I think just going to the money line today, like I said, don't really have too much trust in the bullpen either. And getting that Tatis hit, which I love, at plus 115 is definitely something I want to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think it's kind of funny because I'm fading Fott as well in my bet. So I'm gonna roll with Brandon Fott, 4 hits allowed. Obviously, it's like minus 600, minus 650. He's just too much in the zone, right? I like having guys like that who are just going to fill up the zone and not going to walk you that much, And the San Diego team is so much better versus right-handed pitching. Over 100 points better in OPS against right-handed pitching versus left-handed pitching. This lineup obviously loaded up top. I think that we're going to start. Obviously, Arise is probably good for two of them against Fott here in this matchup here. But obviously, the big thing is going to be Logan Webb under 18.5 outs. And, it's minus 145 right now. I just don't want to play that straight. I do like the Fott spot to bring it down a little bit here. But Logan Webb, obviously, I back him every single game at home. I do not mind fading him on the road. His xFIP and underlyings are pretty good on the road. 3.13 xFIP, all that fun stuff, all the D-Genny stuff that I like talking about, all the analytics stuff. First off. Second off, like I said, the Rangers are not that bad against righties. They're terrible against lefties, but they're not that bad against righties. Just looking at their numbers here, they are the third lowest K rate versus right-handed pitching at home so far this year, 19%. Very, very good. WRC plus around 100. I think it's like 98. And I think that's going to help us out here. I think when you look at this lineup, Seager should be back today. That's why I'm seeing that he should be back today. The top of that lineup is absolutely loaded. And obviously I know Logan Webb's going to try and get you to ground out and do all that fun stuff that, boring stuff. But also Texas had versus righties, 9.6% walk rate. That's top 10 in the MLB. I don't expect Logan Webb to walk a lot of guys. That's not really his thing. But I do expect that hard hit rate to continue the way it is. It's 53%, dude. A 53% hard hit rate. No shit, your batting average on balls in play is over 350, right? When you're giving up almost every time the ball gets put in play, that number, pretty scary. Also, his expected ERA is close to 5, right? 4.77 xERA that's not good, especially when you look at his numbers at a 2.95 ERA. That's almost 2 runs of regression that should be coming here. And if there's a team that you need to miss some bats here. Adolis, I want to miss bats there. Nate Lowe, right? At the bottom of that order, Leody Taveras, Ezekiel Duran, right? Ton of pop.
Yep.
But they strike out a lot. And if you're not going to miss bats, and this team, I think, has enough pop to make them pay a little bit. You don't have those extra 20 feet each spot in San Francisco anymore. You're in Texas. Going to play up some power there. And I think that they get to Logan Webb a little bit early here and get him rolling out of there. Even 6-inning outing isn't a bad outing. And we've seen him go 6 innings in 10 of his starts and gone over that in 7 of them. But, again, the home numbers are absurd, guys. Like, the home numbers are crazy. But still, in those home starts, 17% K rate. He's much more willing to put that ball over the middle of the plate because he can't do much with it. Right? You look at his road numbers. And this just kind of speaks to how you have to pitch when you leave that huge friendly confines, right? He has a 23% K rate. That's a 6 percentage boost. But also, he's more picky, right? 3% walk rate higher at a 7.5% walk rate versus 4 at home. Like I said, you have to be picky. You have to pick corners. You can't put the ball down the middle because you're not in San Francisco, right? So a team that walks a lot, team that doesn't strike out much, I think this is a good spot for this Rangers team. I'm not going to be like taking the Rangers by any means, but I think this is a good spot to take the under on the outs here. And with him hitting it so much, you're giving me a nice price.
Yeah, no, I really like that analysis at the end, especially on how a guy kind of has to change, right, when they leave their home ballpark. Because we all know, everyone in the world knows, like Logan Webb at home is just a no-go. But it's honestly, 18.5 is such a key number, right? Getting over that 6 innings mark right there. You normally don't even see Webb at that number on the road, right? It's normally kind of at that 17.5 mark, normally, pretty juiced and stuff. So definitely agree with kind of fading that against, a lineup that may be a little bit underappreciated. And like you said, one that can generate pop pretty much throughout the order. I think guys like Duran are still in store for a little bit of a better second half of the year, after what we saw last season. So definitely love the combo. Love that minus 106 price tag as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Stu, let's recap. I don't see any other questions in there unless I missed. I don't think we have any. So let's do a quick breakdown, do a quick recap. I don't have a long shot at it right now, but if you have one, I'll let you take it away there. But I'll let you recap here first.
Sounds good. Starting out on DraftKings, we got Atlanta money line plus 150, and Fernando Tatis to record a hit combined at plus 115. And then we got Joe Ryan under 1.5 walks minus 130 over on BetMGM.
Beautiful. I'll be on Garrett Crochet today against the Red Sox. 8 strikeouts, minus 120. I'll also be rolling with Logan Webb under 18.5 outs. If you want, I think it's minus 145. I think that's a fine price, but I do want a little bit of exposure to that San Diego offense a little bit here today as well. So I'm going to take Fott, 4 hits allowed, minus 106. Stu, if you have a long shot, I'll let you take it away, but they don't have any of my daily leader ones right now, which suck, which I wish they had. But do you got anything?
No, not really. Not the only thing I have is just Tatis Homer, which is just an extension of what I talked about earlier, but nothing really unique, new to talk about on the show for today.
Okay. What do you got for the people here, Stu? I don't see any other questions. Got 26 of you guys still in here live with us. We appreciate you sticking around with us this long. What do you guys do for them before we dip out of here?
Yeah, make sure you're following over on Twitter at Monotone Football. I'll be putting out some NBA Finals plays probably today. We're already seeing people being pretty aggressive on those, so don't want to miss out on those good numbers. Obviously, we know that moves, even though the game is still a couple of days away. So definitely follow if you're interested in that. I'll have some more baseball today as well. Also, look out for me. I'll be on Sharp Money on VSiN coming up a lot more. I'm going to be sending in a play of the day to them a couple times a week. So make sure you're tuning in over there. Great guys, a lot of sharp plays. And yeah, you'll be seeing me over there a little bit more. So that's something to look out for as well.
Was that all for NBA? All the NBA stuff here?
Yeah, it'll be a mix. It'll be a mix. I'll be tossing some MLB stuff as well, but it'll be play of the day, some NBA draft stuff. I'll probably be talking about as well. I want to start locking and loading that in. So yeah, pretty across the board.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. As always, hit that like button on your way out. We'll be back on Monday, ready to go, and hopefully talking about a sweep here today. I really like the spots. Think we got some good looks, and best of luck on all your bets that you lock in today, and good luck this weekend on all your spots. So have a good one, guys. See you soon.